Welcome back to another video. Make sure you smash the like button. Alright, so look. He came in wanting this hairstyle. And obviously you can see his hair, and his hair is obviously nowhere near as he would like it. You know what I'm saying? The barber he went to didn't really do much to really help him, to help his haircut. With this type of hair, you have to be cautious because it's super curly and it's super divided. You have to understand what you're doing when you're doing it. Now, his lining is already pushed back. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it. With this hairstyle, if you lift up the front of his hair, it falls tremendously earlier than it looks. So you have to cut this with scissors and a comb or clippers and a comb, depending on the method you choose to use and the way you choose to cut it. So right now it's debulking season right now. So right now we're just debulking, just getting it down to the length that pretty much the client would like it, and that also that the barber would want it to be. So it's pretty much like a mutual gain at this point, because the client is coming for the barber's expertise at this point. You know what I'm saying? He didn't ask the barber. He didn't ask so many different barbers. He didn't tell them what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? And they gave him, I mean, not what he wanted, but what they felt like he wanted, but he didn't want it. It's kind of hard to find good barbers out here, man, that could really show up when you need them, man. But you could tell his hair. Most people at this stage, most people would say, man, give it up. Go ahead, go bald. I actually would agree. But if the client doesn't want to go bald, then what can you know? What can you do? So the goal is to keep as much hair as possible while making sure that we get him right with this nice little taper fade. Now, taper fade with this type of hair texture, it requires extreme detail and extreme measurements. Meaning, basically, you can't just do certain things regular ways. Besides fading, you have to really go in and make sure every detail is right, or you're pretty much going to mess up the whole entire haircut. Now, as you can see, he has light corners. The whole front is pretty much light and pretty much hard to touch. You have to be extremely pristine when you actually do this. When you actually understand what you're doing, you have to be extremely pristine. So right now, we're pretty much making our guidelines and fading the size. Giving him that right type of fade, that blurry feel deal. You know what I'm saying? On each side of the noggin. You know what I'm saying? Real teal. Also, we try to keep as much hair on the top so that way the haircut overall could look complete. Meaning, we don't want to debulk the top if it's already balding out. You could tell right now. You can see it. He came so close to really pretty much cut his hair. Honestly, I feel like within the next year or two, he's definitely going to be bald-headed for sure. That's just the way it is. You know, you can't really fight your genetics. If you're supposed to be bald, you're going to be bald. And it is what it is. I feel like the sooner you accept it, the better. You know what I'm saying? The sooner you accept it, the better. Now, with this type of haircut, low corners, low front, balding, things of that nature, you want to basically trim and edge up, line up the lowest point possible to where you could get the cleanest, crispiest lining ever possible. You don't want to dig inside the light corners, or you don't want to dig inside the haircut in general. You kind of want to basically get the lining before the lining starts. Now, from this haircut, before starting, you could tell that potentially the person that cut his hair before was cutting his hair so terribly wrong and also pushing his lining so far back to where he couldn't even reach it. This is just crazy. Now, we fade both sides accordingly, just identically. You know what I'm saying? And then we pretty much edge and trim up front lines. And like I said, with the edge up, with the lining, you want to make sure you start at the lowest point possible and then go down. Start the lowest point possible and then go down. You want to edge up pristine, detail, and extreme measures. Now it's time to debulk set guidelines, and fade the back. Now, as you can see, like I said earlier in the video, you could cut this type of hair with scissors and a comb or clippers and a comb. The reason why you want to use a comb is because you could pretty much not only use the comb to check your work as you're going, but to also debulk better with this type of hair texture. It's kind of hard to see exactly what you're cutting with a comb, and it's way easier. Scissors and a comb is used for debulking long hair and with a big chop. They were trying to get a big chop. So now we're pretty much catching the details and really pretty much catching the vibes. So you can already tell this fade is crispy, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You can already tell that what he started off with and now what he has, he should appreciate this very much so. New line is so crisp, he probably could go out on a date with Shelmani Mama. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This is a crisp fade for surely. This type of haircut deserves a $100 tip for sure. Lineups does the justice each and every time, man. Now, I feel like what's crazy, but it's true, his hair doesn't look as bad now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like his hair looked 20, 40, 50 times better than what he did when he came up in here. We're using a little bit of enhancements for the light corners. You got to also understand, while using this enhancements with this type of hair texture, the hair is going to flop and fly everywhere. So you got to use a comb and break that down. And also, using the light corner, the enhancements for light corners only. Use too much enhancements, it's going to look bad. And plus, the reason why clients don't like enhancements is because they feel as though you covering up work or you cheating yourself. Really, enhancements was pretty much for people that didn't have a full, clean set of hair, pretty much. People losing hair on the right side, not growing as much on the left, not growing nothing in the middle that's not adding up with the sides. You know what I'm saying? So, like, enhancements is a good thing if you see it that way. This is before, and this is the after. Rate the cut, 1 through 10. Like the video.